So I walk into a Bank of America, and by the way, you're welcome, Bank of America, for the free advertising. Anyway, I navigate my way through the rope maze they have to slow you down, and if there's nobody in the bank, you can just skip that maze and walk right up to the teller. Hey, how you doing? You can just skip the whole thing, right? But if there's even one person in the bank, you have to go through the whole maze so you don't get accused of cutting the line. I mean, that's something you should never do. You should never cut the line. People in bank lines are crazy. People get stabbed for cutting the line. Even handicapped people. Hey, are you cutting the line, handicapped person in that wheelchair? Go through that maze like everyone else and get the fuck behind me now, or I will stab you in your motherfucking crippled legs. Anyway, there was one other person already on the line in the bank, some lady. So I had to navigate my way through the rope maze. And when I get behind the lady, the first thing I notice about her is she's got a really nice ass. Nice and tight, with a little bit of meat on it. Just the way I like them. Like you put a coffee cup on and it won't fall off, right? So after a while of like staring at her ass, when I finally look up, the second thing I notice about the lady is that she looks really pissed. And it's not because she caught me staring at her ass, being all creepy and thinking my filthy thoughts about her ass. No, no, no. That's not it. I totally got away with that. Now, the funny thing is, when you go to the bank or the post office or the supermarket or any place where they got a line, if you walk in and see a really short line, you'd think, wow, that line doesn't look long, so that's pretty good, right? I'll be in and out, zip zip, right away. But the thing you don't know about the line is how long the line was before you got on that line. For all you know, before I got there could have been like 50 customers on the line. So maybe the lady was waiting in line for like an hour, maybe longer. I don't know. And maybe nobody came behind the lady the whole time. Maybe she was just in the line the whole time, just grumbling. So now she finally got to the window after all that time and is about to burst because she's finally next on line. And say that's when I show up. So I don't really know what's going on with her or the line or anything. All I see is that for some reason, this girl is pretty pissed. So anyway, we're standing on line, and there's actually two tellers helping two people, and one of them is an older guy. And the old guy wasn't being like all deaf or crotchety or forgetful or Alzheimer-ish, like old people usually are. No, this guy was just being like a normal customer. So to me, it didn't seem like the wait was going to be long at all. And that's why I didn't really get why the lady in front of me was so aggravated. I guess I just figured, okay, this lady must be one of those self-important cunts. You know the type. They're like, fuck everybody else, because they're too important to wait on a line, like a normal person. I mean, I see people like this all the time, so it's not shocking or anything. Pretty much any time I'm on a line longer than one or two people, they're huffing and puffing and grumbling really loud and making everybody else uncomfortable because of their overdramatic, this line is taking forever bullshit. So anyway, the teller is finishing up with whatever transaction she had with this older guy. And just when you'd expect he would be like, thank you, and he'd get his receipt and go away, the teller says to him, excuse me, sir, would you be interested in applying for a pre-approved credit card with us today? And the older guy is like, well, I might be. And in my opinion, that's a big mistake. I mean, anytime I get a credit card offer in the mail, I don't even read the front page anymore. I just flip it over, take out my magnifying glass, and I go straight for the fine print. I mean, the last credit card offer I got, no lie, when I read it, the fine print said my interest rate would be anywhere from 5.99% to 32.99%. Now, forget if 32.99% is even legal or moral. I mean, 32.99% motherfucking interest? Come on. And which interest rate do you think I'm going to get? 5.99%? I don't think so. So anyway, the teller starts to do her spiel about travel points and cash back and interest, and that was literally the breaking point for this lady in front of me. She immediately threw her hands up in the air and says really loudly, oh my God. And uh, I say to myself, oh, oh boy, here it comes, here we go, right? And then she turns to this Asian bank guy in a suit, right? And he's probably the bank manager. I don't know, but he's definitely an employee. And he's standing there right in front of her. And she says to him, "Excuse me, sir, but could you please ask this teller not to sell your credit cards while there are other people in the bank who are waiting in line?" And the Asian guy, he just goes like, yes, and then he just walked away, and he never came back. He did that Asian thing where you totally avoid a conflict by just leaving, right? Now, normally you would look at a lady like that, and you'd say to yourself, "Geez, this lady's being a total fucking bitch," right? I mean, because the world is such a horrible place. There's all kinds of fucked up shit that can be going on in your life. Way worse than waiting online in a bank for a couple of minutes. I mean, there's ball cancer, there's titty cancer, there's male titty cancer, there's regular cancer. There's bullets. I mean, you know why regular people aren't allowed to have guns? We'd all be shooting each other. I'm sorry, officer. I had to shoot him. He cut the line. He talked in the movies. He ate the last slice of pizza I already called dibs on. We'd all have to be walking around 24/7 in total body armor. Because even if you weren't getting shot at, right, you'd have to worry about the straight bullets whizzing by you left and right. You know, not everybody with a gun would be a great shot, or even have good vision. I mean, God forbid the person shooting at you forgot their glasses that day, and they thought that you looked like somebody or some other asshole that pissed them off. So, like I said, I personally had only been online for like a minute, but again, I don't know what was going on in the bank before I arrived with her or anything. Maybe she was in a rush. Maybe she had to take a shit, or maybe she needed her medication. Again, I don't know. But to be honest, when it came to this bank wasting our time, I started thinking she was kind of right. And I was even agreeing with her a little because I did have stuff to do. And honestly, it's not fair. It's really not fair. You're at a bank and you're trapped. Now they got you. There's no place to go. It's not like when you're at home, and you get the junk mail and you can just throw away the junk mail, or like the commercial's on and you can kind of fast forward through the bullshit commercial. No, you're there at the bank because you have to be there, and you're stuck. And I mean, when a teller actually gets somebody interested in one of their shitty bank card offers or whatever, like what happened here, they should immediately be like, okay, right, and then make some kind of like hand signal, and then a couple of guys could come out of the back. They jump out and they could grab that person and then drag him off to some room in the back where they could work them over and mentally break them down, or drug them, or hypnotize them, or I don't, maybe suck their dicks, all right, whatever they need to do to get these people to sign whatever piece of paper they need them to sign, to get their 25% interest, and take advantage of the poor sucker who kind of thought, oh yeah, maybe I need an extra credit card, right? But no, that's not what happened. What happened was the teller just kept talking to the guy, even after the lady said this, right? There were no hand signals, and that's when I just totally agreed with the lady in front of me, and she even looked back at me and was like, and like, right, and I was like, yeah, I know, and but to be honest, I didn't even say, yeah, I know. I just made that, yeah, I know face, because honestly, what are you gonna do? I'm not gonna speak up. She spoke up. No, I'm the kind of person, and most of us are this way. Most of us are the kind of people that wouldn't say anything. We're the kind of people that are like, what are you gonna do? It's a line. She's just doing her job, and we just have to wait. And it probably won't be that long. What are you gonna do, right? Um, Now the lady in front of me had already talked to the Asian guy, and like I said, he was gone. He might have even left the building. Got in his car, drove away. We'll never know. He never came back. But the lady, now she turned to the teller and she was like, could you please hurry it up? Could you please not be trying to sell your credit cards now? There are other people who are waiting in line. Maybe we have things more important to do than to wait for you to finish selling your credit cards, right? And the funny thing is that I wasn't the only person on that line anymore. Now there were like, say, 6 people on the line behind me, and they all went through the maze like good little whatevers, right? But none of us, not even me, nobody else said anything. Um, but for half a second, I almost wanted to applaud this lady. I wanted to go like that, and cheer her on. But I didn't, right? Like everybody else, I'm a regular person and I've been beaten down. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll just stand here, not say anything, and be abused, right? So anyway, nobody said anything, and the teller finally finished talking to the guy, and I don't even know if the guy got a credit card or not. Maybe the guy got scared away by the crazy yelling lady, and he left, right? So it was her turn, and she went right up to the teller, and she said in a voice loud enough for everyone in the bank to hear. She said, "Excuse me, I just want to make my bank deposit, do my business, and go. I don't want to talk about or for you to try to sell me any credit card offers or anything like that because I'm not interested." And she made it a point to say that real loud so everybody would hear. Now, again, the funny thing about this lady is that I secretly like that there are people like her and like this. People who will stand up and be a bitch and bitch about something that's annoying because most of us won't. I said, I know I'm not like that. I'm not loud like her. I'm like everybody else. And we're all a bunch of pussies. So I guess I do want to finally applaud this lady and give her that shout out that the one that I didn't give her when we were at the bank. Because this time she wasn't the asshole. She was the fucking bank hero. She was the one who spoke up for all of us standing on the line patiently, even though we got more important shit to do. Yeah, that's right. This time, you, Bank of America, you were the big fucking gaping asshole. And that's why I want to say, hey, Bank of America, fuck you, even if it is a little bit late.